Hi there, this is Helen Bellino from Artopia Mosaics and Sculpture, and I would just like to make this YouTube tutorial for you all about what glue to use when you're doing your mosaics. Choosing a glue can be really tricky. There are so many different glues out on the market, and there are so many people doing mosaics, and everyone has their favourite glues. But it is really important that you do choose the right glue for the right job, because a mosaic work can fail if you choose a glue that's incorrect for the position or for the types of materials you're working with. So what I've done is decided to make this YouTube video to try and hopefully just really break down the confusion around what glues to use. So just give you a bit of an overview of adhesives in general and which ones are really good to use for mosaic work. At Artopia we have put a kit together. It's like a basic glue kit, so there's lots of things you can do with all the glues in this kit. We've got 3 different glues and 2 other products. So I will be covering some of those today, but also showing you some other glues and talking about glues in general. So how do you go about choosing a glue when you are doing a mosaic? Well, you really have to consider these 3 questions. So we just break it down. First of all, you need to ask yourself, where will my mosaic be displayed? So that's asking, is it going to be indoor, outdoor? Is it going to be underwater? Is it going to be in all weather? Is it going to be in conditions where it's like a freezing environment? Is it going to be in outback Australia where it's 50 degrees in the sun? So they're the sort of questions that you need to answer in order to choose a glue. So if you choose, if you decide your mosaic is going to be displayed outside, you have to be really careful about the type of glue that you choose. If your mosaic is going to be displayed inside, it's not as important because the glue will not be exposed to the elements. There'll be little change. So you're pretty well going to be safe with whatever glue you choose for indoors, as long as your surfaces, you're choosing glue that the surface is sticking together well. So the second question is, what are you sticking your pieces onto? Now you might have heard some terminology in the mosaic world, and it might be easy to break down those terms, or it might be a bit more confusing. But the term we use in the mosaic industry is substrate. So if you've heard that term and you're wondering what it is, the substrate is what you're sticking your mosaic onto. So are you sticking it onto wood, like this assemblage piece here is on a wooden base? Are you sticking it onto marmox, which is cement base, like this? Are you sticking it onto glass on glass, and so you're sticking it onto glass? Are you sticking it onto metal? Are you sticking it onto plastic? And so on. So whatever you're sticking your mosaic onto, whatever the base is, you've really got to answer that question. You've got to choose a glue that will work with that base. And then the third one, what are your mosaic pieces made from? So is it glass? Is it stained glass like this? Is it ceramic tile like this? Is it glazed tile, or is it the porous side of a ceramic tile? Is it smelty like this? Is it natural materials such as marble like this, or shells or wood or something like that? Is it mirror? Mirror has a backing, you have to consider that. Is it jewellery pieces? Is it crystals? What are you using as your mosaic pieces? And the term we use in the mosaic world is tesserae. So you might have heard that term. They're just the mosaic pieces. So let's have a look at some glues. Glues are broken down into different categories of glues, okay? So the first category, you've got your PVA type glues, such as PVA glue and Weld Bond. PVA style glues such as Weld Bond are water-based, and they're not suitable for outdoors, all right? Weld Bond, a lot of people have used Weld Bond in mosaic projects, and it's fine if it's going indoors. But if it's going outdoors, I would not recommend you using Weld Bond. Weld Bond is a good glue to use if you're working with children, or if you're working with elderly residents in a nursing home or something like that, where cleanup is going to be difficult and you don't want them to get a lot of heavy glue on their hands. It's a very safe glue to use in that way. Well Bond is really good for sticking onto those little mosaic, little timber shapes. If you're doing a little frame or a little MDF timber mirror or just a shape or something like that. So fantastic for your little craft projects. But as far as heavy duty mosaic work is concerned, I don't recommend Well Bond. In fact, I actually don't use Well Bond at all because I feel that I can choose a better glue, and I'm not worried about getting it on my hands, and the people that I work with, it's quite easy for them to wash their hands too. So I would go up to this one instead of Well Bond, which is our Prep multi-use adhesive, which is much stronger. It's resin based, it's not water based, so it is a little bit more difficult to get off the surfaces of your mosaic pieces and off your fingers, but that also means that it's a much stronger glue. It won't fail. It's fantastic. So that's the glue that I would sort of recommend for those craft projects. It does say it's suitable for outdoors, and it's also great for interior projects. So that does come in our kit because I really think this is a superior glue to use if you're looking for a clear craft style glue. And then we move into our tile glues. Now there are so many different tile glues on the market. You can stand in the aisle of your hardware shop and you can just become overwhelmed with the number of glues there, and you think, oh my gosh, what am I going to use for my mosaic? Tile glues are great to use for your mosaics because they do a good job. They're strong, they're thick, you can press into it and you really feel that adhesion working really well. So the first type of tile glue on the market are what we call mastic style glues. I'll just write that for you. I'll write it up here so you can see how it's spelt. Mastic. Mastic is not a brand, okay? Mastic is a category of glues. There's lots of brands. There's Aber Mastic, Ultra Mastic, Super Mastic, Mega Mastic, and so forth. What a mastic style glue is it looks like this. This is a white pre-mixed tile glue. It's already mixed. It's lovely, beautiful, smooth to work with. Everybody likes working with mastic because it's, you know, pretty good. The disadvantage of working with mastic is it's only suitable for indoors, okay? And that is a common mistake that people make. You can read the packaging. Some, you know, pre-mixed glues are suitable for outdoors, but as a general rule, mastic is for indoor tile work. So really read the packaging on every brand of mastic that you're looking at in that hardware shop and to tell you what it's suitable for. Mastic is really great for using on timber. So back to those MDF shapes. Mastic is a great glue for working on those indoor projects on wood. Okay. Mastic is easily coloured. We have a range of colourants at Artopia, our tints, and you only need a little bit to colour this beautiful white glue. You can decant it into a piping bag like this, and what you end up with is a beautiful smooth glue that you can pipe onto surfaces and press your pieces into. And that's what I've done in this project. I've used mastic and I've coloured it. I've used mastic because this is going indoors. Okay, it's going indoors because even though my substrate is cement based and can go outdoors, the pieces I've chosen to use as my mosaic pieces are indoors, like plastic beads, shells and things like that. Although some shells can go outside, of course. So back to the questions. Where will my mosaic be displayed? Indoors. I can use any of these glues. I can use any of these glues for indoors, but these ones are particularly for indoors. Okay. So there is another YouTube tutorial on our Artopia channel showing you how to make these piping bags. I'm not going to cover that in this tutorial. So if you're interested in learning how to use glue in this way, then go on to that YouTube tutorial. It is important that you keep mastic in an airtight container. I've just noticed that my container, which I decant the mastic into for my students so they don't have to go and buy a great big tub, has got a crack in it. So that would very quickly, the air would get to my mastic and that will set solid. So make sure you keep your mastic in an airtight container. And when you're working with it, don't just open the lid and do your mosaic straight out of the tub, okay? Decant your mastic into a little container like one of these and then put the lid straight back on so that it remains airtight. Otherwise, you know, it won't last very long. It'll go hard and you won't be able to use it. So that's your mastic style glue. I hope that really breaks down the indoor glues for you. Now, outdoor glues are a little bit stronger. We need to go up a category. We need to go to cement-based glues. All right. There are many, many cement-based glues on the market suitable for mosaic work. So any exterior grade tile adhesive, cement-based tile adhesive, will do the job. We have one called S&S, Sculpt and Stick, which we're very proud of. It's a really superior exterior grade tile adhesive and sculptural medium, and you will find that in our kit, our glue kit that we've put together. It's quite an inexpensive glue. Most cement-based glues are, you know, the cheaper end of your glue market. If they're really, really cheap, it probably means that they don't have a lot of polymers in them, which gives you that stickiness. Some of the cement-based glues on the market are almost just cement, just some mortar mix, and they don't have a lot of additives to give you that stickiness. So just be careful because you do tend to pay for what you get. So with our cement-based glues, you usually mix them with water and then you can use them. They're really great for using on any projects such as terracotta pots, cement pavers, brick walls and things like that, cement sheet and the marmox. They're really great for sticking onto a porous surface. So where will my mosaic be displayed? Outdoors, I can use a cement-based glue. What are you sticking your pieces onto? I'm sticking my pieces onto something that is porous, okay? So I'm sticking it onto something that the cement glue will suck into. So I'm sticking it onto cement, I'm sticking it onto raw things. I'm not sticking onto shiny things. I'm not sticking them onto metal, I'm not sticking them onto glass, okay? I need to be sticking them onto things that are porous. Cement-based glues are also not great on wood, okay? They do dry a little brittle and sometimes your pieces can come off on wood. So perhaps stay away from wooden substrates with your cement-based glue. In our kit, you do get all these instructions and the chart. So with our S&S, which is a little bit stronger than a lot of the cement-based glues, it will give you all the places to use S&S and what is good and what isn't good. Okay, so that will really break it down for you. Then we have two-part glues. Okay, so they're still cement-based, but we have a liquid and a powder. Now, these two combined, the liquid and the powder combined, make a very, very strong waterproof glue. This one is called Optima. It's one of my favourites. When you combine the liquid and the powder together, you get this lovely creamy glue, very strong. What is better about Optima than, say, a cement-based glue like S&S is it just gives you that extra stickability. So it will stick to non-porous surfaces and it will be great for underwater, even with two non-porous surfaces. So say if you're sticking glass onto metal, it will stick really well even underwater. So back to our three questions. Where will my mosaic be displayed? Outdoors. So I can use either this one or this one. What are you sticking your pieces onto? I'm sticking my pieces onto a cement paver. Great. That glue is fantastic for that. But I'm sticking my pieces onto a metal, say, watering can. Okay, let's use Optima because that will stick to a shiny surface a little bit better than this one. And then what are your mosaic pieces made from? Well, if my mosaic pieces are made from porous materials such as marble, okay, it's very porous, I could quite easily use my S&S and press my marble into the S&S. Even if my base is shiny, I can actually stick my marble into the S&S, because I've only got one shiny surface there, which is my substrate, and the marble itself is porous, so that will be a strong enough bond. Okay. But if my pieces are made from a shiny material, such as the smelty, then I might want to just go up a grade if I'm sticking it onto a shiny surface. So say I'm sticking my smelty pieces, which is glass, which is non-porous, onto this shiny ceramic surface, then I probably want to use Optima, because I'm sticking something that's shiny or non-porous onto something that is shiny and non-porous, and the Optima will do the job. So pretty much these two glues will do all the jobs you need for a type of tile glue. Okay, so the only other thing to consider is when you're working with plastics and mirror and things like that, these glues are not ideal for plastics. Plastics and synthetic materials, you really need to get yourself some silicone, okay? You can get silicone in a big tube like this, and you need to put it in a caulking gun and then decant it. It's quite messy, and you do end up maybe even getting a blockage, and the whole canister can be easily wasted. So even though these are more expensive, I prefer to buy myself a small tube of silicone and just work straight from the tube. So if I'm using plastic beads or plastic something like that, or I'm sticking onto a plastic base or synthetic base, so I know a lot of people will do like mannequins, beautiful mannequin, shop mannequins. Silicone is what you need to use to stick those pieces on. Okay, so just be really careful working with synthetic materials. Silicone is a good bet, a fail-safe bet for your synthetics. With mirror, you do have to be careful with mirror, because mirror is made with this coating that's put on the back of glass. So silver mirror is basically clear glass with this silver coating. Other mirrors, like other reflective glass, which is can be very expensive, like a red reflective glass, is red glass with this silver coating on the back. So be very careful what glues you choose to use on this mirror, because some of the adhesives can actually eat into the coating, and then what you get on the front is you get an antique. It was called antiquing, and it starts to sort of look old. Sometimes that effect can actually look quite charming, but in other work you don't really want that. So the safest adhesive to use on a mirror is a special silicone, and that is usually found in the plumbing section of your hardware store, and it will say mirror or mirror splashback silicone adhesive, and that does not eat your mirror. Some mirrors are fine with these kinds of adhesives, but you can never be sure. So if you absolutely don't want the antiquing to happen, you do have to go and find that special silicone mirror glue. Saying that, you probably will have success with good quality mirror. So like this is a good quality mirror from a good, very good supplier. If you're going to be picking up broken mirror off the street, or think old mirrors that have been recycled from old furniture, then you might find that the backing is much more readily eaten by some of your glues. So you can do that. You can be just be aware of that as well. So hopefully in this tutorial, what I've done for you is taken a bit of the mystery of glues away from you. So when you are starting a mosaic project, all you need to do is think about these 3 questions and find a glue that is suitable for whatever your responses to these 3 questions are. Now, hopefully that has not confused you more, and it's just made your gluing life, your gluing knowledge a little bit easier for you to ascertain which glue is going to suit your mosaics, because there's nothing worse than coming unstuck. So have fun with your mosaics, enjoy, be creative, but get the technical right, and your mosaics will last forever. Thanks for listening.